let's get into this women's rumble. Because I'm somewhat underwhelmed. I'm a little underwhelmed. And let me break it down. No DX. This rumble did not have a lot of build-up. I felt like we speed ran it on either the last episode or 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, where all the women that are like the big main eventers, big players,
came out and announced
one by
shit.
one, and then they all just in the ring mad at each other. And it was literally just all in that one quick segment, all the hype for the Women's Royal Rumble done at once. And I saw some some dialogue online talking about how this is fucking over the women's division, you know, where's the hype for the Rumble, all this stuff. And I was hinging my hope on the idea of returns. Surprises.
Oh, you got one.
We got one. Alexa Bliss.
Oh, you got two then.
That was cool. What's the other surprise I'm missing?
You can look, but you can't touch.
Oh God, I've already blocked that out of my fucking memory. Yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah. Whew. So that ended up being why, because we didn't get all the big name returns and surprises that I was hoping for. We just end up kind of, mid Rumble overall. At least that's how I'm feeling. The event just ended a little while ago. That's how I'm feeling.
Crazy, but really.
How are you feeling about Charlotte Flair being the winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble?
Everybody knew it, but like, why though? Still, just why? Is she just gonna win the title or lose? It just like once again fucking just disappear again or whatever, and just once again get put in a position where like maybe next year she wins the Elimination Chamber or some shit like that.
No, it was definitely.
There's so much times they can do this with their bro, and people are gonna start getting tired with that shit, bro.
I do feel like we're already there. A lot of people are already tired of it. They already feel like we just kind of force it down people's throats and everything. It's a little frustrating. I think one of the things that bums me out is similar to the men's match. This is one that towards the beginning, I felt like had a lot of momentum and was building really well. I was happy with a lot of the players that were kind of involved throughout the early and middle parts of the match. And I think we climaxed at the Alexa Bliss return. That was like maximum hype for this Women's Rumble. That was where I felt like the next 9, 10, however many entrants are left could be like, this could be an all-time Women's Royal Rumble. This could be an all-time Rumble, period. And unfortunately, I have the list pulled up here. The final, once we get past Alexa Bliss, the final entrance there, it's rough. We immediately lose some steam with Zelina and Candice. And it's not to disrespect people, but it's just, we were waiting on Jade, Becky, Asuka, potentially AJ Lee. We're waiting on heavy hitters. And then you start throwing some of the mid-card at us. Okay, cool. You throw Stephanie Vaquer at me. Okay, great. She's really NXT. Great. All that. Great. You throw Trish Stratus at me. Whatever. Cool. It's a alleged appearance. I get it. Then you throw Raquel at me, and I'm like, ooh, I'm really starting to lose hope. It's only so many people left. And so either everyone left is like a Hall of Famer, or, and Charlotte Flair is a Hall of Famer, and that's who was next. But then we get Julia, which again, NXT, great. We'll see where she's at in the future. But I just felt like that's pretty late to still be throwing NXT superstars into the mix.
And especially that late to the Rumble.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we really are, wow, we're putting her in a big spot here. Nia Jax, who just came in and cleared the fucking ring, which felt cheap in some ways, because like a lot of the big names of the Rumble all got eliminated all at once by Nia Jax, which doesn't progress any storylines or any feuds or anything, because they can't all beef it with Nia. And so like, I just feel like a lot of the high profile names in the Rumble, they all got ended by Nia all at once, which just, I don't know, felt a little cheap. And then number 30 is fucking Nikki Bella, which I just never saw that coming. Never saw that coming. So, I mean, dude, wow. Fucking wow. You know? I just felt like the beginning, the startup, you know, I love the use of Jordan Grace. Chelsea Green heel shenanigans going on throughout. I think Io and Liv is a first two, and then Roxanne coming out at number 3, and then all 3 of them making super impressive late runs into the Rumble. All of that was awesome. You know, we got to see some furthering of the feud with Chelsea Green and B-Fab and Meechin that is never ending. We got to see PFC interact with people for a bit, which we don't get to see often, which is something, I guess. Lash Legend mixing it up with some of the top stars and like really looking like she belongs. Like I feel like Lash Legend is genuinely a future star for sure. Like that is the point in the Rumble where I want to see the NXT superstars because it's still early. They get to have all these great interactions with the main eventers, with the main roster of people. And then they get to go out in their own pace, and it's all good. Like, if Lash Legend would have came out at 28, it wouldn't have hit the same. But the way that they used her at 9, a lot better. So I say all that to say that really that the first kind of 2/3 of this Rumble, I was really happy with the way it was developing and going on. And I felt like we were building towards something big. And unfortunately, that climax came and went, and I didn't even know that was the top of the mountain.
Yep.
Because it just kind of lost steam
Alexa
from
Bliss
there.
was peak.
That was the peak. And then she got eliminated kind of early on, which was a little wild. Let me double... Who the hell did she even get eliminated? By Liv.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's a natural feud, whatever. Similar aesthetic and everything. That's fine. Cool with it. The 2 weird goth kids gonna fight each other, that's cool, I guess. But
boy, tell the principal they're fighting again.
It just feels a little underwhelming because I wanted her to last a little longer, make it feel like her return was a bit more impactful. But, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, then I'm scrolling through the eliminations, and then you just get this run where Nia Jax eliminates. Let me see how many. I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. And I think it was essentially all at once from what I remember. They were all just in a big pile. And she just kind of flipped the pile. And it's like huge names in this list. Like Bianca, Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, Naomi, Liv. Like these are all very big players in this Rumble. And they're all just gone like that. No real build going forward. Still no mention of Jade Cargill or anything that happened to her. Still no return of Becky Lynch that's been rumored and teased for God knows how fucking long. Still no return of Asuka, which obviously, look, I've seen some stuff on Twitter that apparently there might have been like some weird fan interaction shit or something going on. I saw her put out a tweet basically that said like, please don't try to have romantic feelings for me or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then saying that like WWE is protecting me, like thank you or whatever. So like if there's some weird fan stalker creepy shit going on, whatever, like obviously, if she couldn't be here, whatever, like I get that there could be real life shit going on there. I was just under the assumption that like there was pretty high chance that Asuka would be returning. And so that sucked that didn't happen. So just a lot of stuff that I wanted to see didn't end up happening. And so that was that was the overarching theme of this. Now, the one thing, not the one thing, but one of the main things that I want to say, just to flip it over to the positive side of things, we created a star in Roxanne Perez today, in my opinion. So I know on the panel here for El's show, I'm the one who's normally a little bit more tapped in with the NXT shit and everything like that. So for someone who hasn't seen as much Roxanne, how did you feel about seeing her today, mixing it up with the main roster players?
She's solid. She showed that she could keep up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that her fucking last 2 run, she didn't do no bullshit, bro. She was cooking, bro, the whole time.
It felt like she fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the best thing you could say is that it felt like she fit in. That's probably one of my top things about the match overall is not just her, but specifically the first three entrants, Io, Liv, and Roxanne, those are three people that I'm a big fan of. I think that for different reasons, I've wanted to see this be a big year for them. So, like, Io coming out of Damage Control has been just in this kind of, like, middle ground of being, like, the really good match wrestler, which is, like, a good and bad place to be, because that means that she gets to put on a show very often on TV, is giving us these banger matches, but not a lot of substance behind them, not a lot of stories. And I wanted this to be the year where hopefully the two can come together and we can really propel Io into the proper stardom that I think that she's deserving of. Liv is the example of someone who just did that last year, propelled herself into the stardom by being a part of one of the most insane, crazy, funny, amazing, just ridiculous storylines of the last year. But I was worried after she dropped the belt pretty emphatically to Rhea on the first night of Raw on Netflix that she was going to end up in kind of limbo creatively. And so I was happy to see her still getting used in a very prominent way. And Roxanne, I think, has just been so ready to come up from NXT. She is just fucking great on the mic, great in the ring. She's got, like, she ticks every box. She's a top level prospect if you're looking at it from that, like, kind of perspective. You know what I mean? The same way, like, I remember feeling this way when I would look at a guy like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes in NXT. That was around the time when I first started watching the shows here and there, trying to keep up a bit. And I would just see these dudes and I'm like, yeah, like, they got every attribute you would want a star in pro wrestling to have. I feel like Roxanne Perez is that example right now for me, one of the big standouts in NXT. And so to see the three of them all getting featured so prominently in the Rumble, I was just very happy to see that. I feel like they're all very deserving, all for different reasons, but all very deserving. And I hope that this year we kind of get to see that momentum continue. So that was just one of the main things that I took away as being like one of the positives of the Rumble. Love the use of Jordan Grace. Felt like she fit in as another star. How did you feel about that? Seeing her debut in officially as a WWE wrestler.
Bro. She did a fucking good ass job in the fucking ring, bro. She was fucking not in this way, but she was fucking hot as hell. Like, she came in fucking straight. Fucking,
no, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
just fucking smashing all of them and shit like that. Fucking flipping them, throwing them around and shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
She was explosive. She was very explosive, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's bro. She's one hell of an athlete, man. Like, bro, getting up Piper is not. I mean, that's no mean feat, bro. That's typical, man. She's fucking huge, bro.
Listen, brother.
And so, shit, no, yeah, I feel like that was a great debut for her. Obviously, we've seen her appear in stuff before in WWE, but this is her debut as a member of the roster, so that was cool. I mean, yeah, I guess overall I would say that just a bit underwhelming, unfortunately. Like, I wanted this to be up there as one of the best Rumbles ever, period. Because I was expecting to see multiple top level talent returning, making their big appearance. And I know that that's something that we, every year we fall under this trap, but it just felt like the circumstances were all aligned so perfectly. We didn't even really touch on AJ Lee, but obviously that's always just more of a rumor type of thing. But, like, again, it's one of those things where, yeah, we've always talked about it. It's always a rumor. It's always whatever. Like, people like to throw it around. But the motherfucker's actually in the company now. And, like, doing really good. Everything we've heard is that everyone's super happy. And so if there was ever a year where I could have convinced, which I did, I kind of convinced myself this could be the year.
She comes in.
And, dude, fuck. Like, that's it. Yeah.
That's what you said, bro.
Fuck. I'll ask you the same thing I did at the end of our Ben's Rumble review reaction. What's the hype level going into WrestleMania, coming out of this Women's Royal Rumble, with Charlotte Flair back at the top of the women's division, with all of these new players introduced into the women's division?
It's interesting to see where she goes, because I know a lot of people are saying Tiffy time.
I just think because we've seen, I think it was at WrestleMania 39,
Ripley.
Charlotte versus Rhea,
Mm-hmm.
fairly recently. It just makes sense that we go in a new direction. You know what I'm saying?
They had a rematch too, no?
But do you not feel me that
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany versus Charlotte feels a little bit more fresh, new, exciting?
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason that people are pushing that. Would you be excited for that?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tiffany performs with that.
If she could hold her own. I think I'm more excited. I don't know. I'll ask you if you agree with me here. That I'm almost more excited about some of the other people that were introduced. Like, I'm excited to see what a Jordan Grace is going to do in the next few months.
Okay.
If Roxanne Perez is coming up to the main roster, or what that whole thing is. Because that felt like a whole lot of time for
Her to be
there's
yeah.
no way she in the last fucking two of the Rumble and then she's just back to NXT, right? So I'm assuming we got a couple new players introduced to the game. Lash Legend, I'm thinking isn't gonna be in NXT for much longer. So I think I'm more excited to see what some of those names are gonna be doing than necessarily. Yes, like of course it'll be interesting to see what Charlotte and what I'm assuming Charlotte and Tiffany have going. But I think I'm a little more excited. And then obviously, I mean, the big return that we kind of just glossed over, but Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
That'll be really fascinating to see. It looks like it might be her and Liv kind of having a feud, which I think would be good because that keeps both of them in a prominent position. You know, like they'll be able to work off of each other well. You know I made the fucking joke about the goth kids earlier, but I can't help that. But it will be a good feud. It will be a good feud. Overall, I think I'm a little less frustrated with this Rumble than I was the men's because, like, I wanted others to win the match other than Jay. Charlotte felt like a really expected possible winner to me, and so it's not like I get it. I get why we did it. Would have been way cooler if we would have just said, fuck it, let's give it to Roxanne. Just because at some point, why not experiment with it and see what we can do with an NXT call-up, and if we could just instantly, blow someone up. Would have been different. Just something different. But overall...
It was written in the stars for Charlotte for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it's written in the stars for her, but I guess.
Look. Her last name. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Why is she done, though?
Huh?
Why is she done, though?
Win a bunch of titles. Because she's Charlotte Flair.
Trash. But alright.
Look, man, I don't make the rules. It's not up to me that the two winners of the Royal Rumbles both have family members that are extremely prominent legends in the business. I didn't say that.
You just did, though.
I didn't call this the Nepo Rumble.
Mm.
You called it the Nepo Rumble.
Yikes. Yikes.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, man.
The Nepo Rumble.